Counterpunch Media Live in 3, 2, 1.
Live from the Counterpunch Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy on IPMNation.com. If you're not going to Mortal Up, why not just stay in bed?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Get it after all this time, finally. Welcome, and thank you for stopping by. Oh, man. Thank you for stopping by what is now the 450th episode of the number one rated the very best thoughts in the history of thinking. So what do you say? Here's your opportunity for the next half hour to mortal up, to crush your can't, give your critics a good smack on the way down, because it's time. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. Wow, never thought we'd get to episode 450, but we're pretty fired up about it, pretty excited about it. So I thought what we would do this morning, a couple different things I wanted to run past you. One, what would you say, now that you know Alexa, if you have Alexa, right, in your home, and now that the news reports are that Alexa is listening to everything you say, right? What would you say if you know you're right? If you're tapping yourself, right? If you know Alexa is listening, what would you say? That's what I wanted to kick around this morning, because, you know, people are like all upset. Oh, Alexa is listening into my conversations. Well, maybe there's a time where you want someone listening in on your conversations. I don't know, but if you did, what would that conversation be? Like if you just wanted to leak something, right? If you say to yourself, oh, well, yeah, here's some information. I don't want everyone to know that I'm the one putting it out, but I want to leak it. What would that be? So just just a thought. And we're going to also this morning, I got a couple really wild things to kick around with you this morning. Don't forget that tomorrow, let me get this out of the way first, if you would. Tomorrow is going to be our IPM Nation's International Block Party for the Brian Brain Trust. And it'll be live from 11 a.m. till midnight. Be a part of backing Brian's brain. So if you get a chance to tune in tomorrow, we're going to be having some fun. I'll be meeting some hosts, other hosts of IPM Nation, some other cool people that I haven't really had a chance to speak to before. So that'll be kind of neat. We'll get that all fired up. And what am I out, like 10 days? I guess 10 days or so out from my fifth, hopefully, and last brain surgery. So that's we appreciate that, especially the weekend before Easter. So thank you very much. Also this morning, don't forget, if you want to get a hold of us, you can give us a call, 833-MINDUPS, 833-646-3877. Give us a holler. Also, I'll throw up the QR code. You know the drill by now. If you're on your way out the door, hit the QR code on your computer. It'll pop us right up in your phone, and you'll be ready to go and hit the ground running, as I like to say. So a couple things that I wanted to get to this morning before we get to our Friday Free for All, which, you know, on Fridays, it's whatever we want to talk about, whatever comes up, whatever pops up in the thread. And I had a quote or a question earlier that was texted to me. They said, "Okay, well, do you have like a half-eaten Oreo behind you? Is that like a ghost? Is that something?" No. Well, let me show you here. In case you're if you're listening on iHeartRadio or iTunes or Spotify. There's a black circle behind me, and in the middle of that circle, if you're watching over on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, you can see it. In the middle of that circle is a white, it looks like, I don't know, like a ghost, right? Like a white ghost. Someone said, do you have a ghost behind you? And I'm thinking, well, maybe I do. I don't know. It's a ghost, right? So maybe it's its own Alexa. No, what it is it's a microphone that we use when we do the voiceover work. It's the microphone. I just couldn't find anybody else to put it right now. And then I'm thinking, sometimes it can get a little dusty, a little pollen-y in the air. So I just put this blanket over top to kind of protect the microphone to make sure it doesn't get all cruddy while I'm there. So that's what's behind me. That's not the half-eaten Oreo. It's not a ghost. It's just me and my little microphone. All right, so this morning before we hop into the thread and say hello to everybody, I wanted to jump over quickly and go, don't forget, the question of the morning is, what would you say if you knew Alexa was listening, right? There's things you want to keep private, but what if you're like, well, let's just have some fun with this, right? Let's just, if they're really listening to us, let's go ahead and give them something to listening to. That's all I'm saying. All right, but here's what grabbed my eye this morning. And I guess you could say, well, Brad, that absolutely falls into the category of lowlifes making headlines. It's up to you. You decide. But scientists put a human gene into monkeys to make them smarter. I get a few humans you could put a gene into to make them smarter. How about we focus on some of the dimwits running around our world? Not a lot of them, right? Not, as I said yesterday, humanity as a whole is a pretty cool group of people. But you have to admit, some of these lowlifes making headlines. Maybe we should alter their genes, right? So scientists put human genes into monkeys to make them smarter. It says here that they're building a super intelligence. Scientists put human gene into monkeys to make them smarter, more human-like. For the first time, a team of Chinese scientists, well, they perfected MSG in food. Why wouldn't it be the Chinese scientists? Made use of gene editing techniques to make monkey brains more human-like. By the end, the monkeys, rhesus macaws, got smarter and had superior memories as compared to the unaltered monkeys. Well, look at that. So if you want, I'll throw the link up here in a little bit if you want to read a little more. You could probably just Google monkeys smarter than humans. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's some people that are probably going to pop up on the list right away when you Google that term. But like I said, maybe we should just do some gene editing for some of the nuts we have running around here already. We'd be better off. And the second story that I wanted to call to your attention, are we now living in a simulation? An MIT scientist says that it's more likely than not. This from Digital Trends. What's the guy? Who knows who he is? But what if I told you a physical reality is an illusion and that we live in a computer simulation? Well, that makes sense. That's why Alexa's got us all dialed in. She's just using a USB cable and tapping into the simulation. It says the hypothesis famously probed in the 1990, has it been that long? 1999 of The Matrix is the subject of a new book by Rizvan Virk, a computer scientist and video game developer who leads Play Labs at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In his book, The Simulation Hypothesis, Captain Virk endeavors to unpack the heady arguments that call our physical world into question. I often think that I miss my mark, especially when you think about brain tumors and this and that. And I'll tell you about how I spent my opening 25 minutes this morning. But I think I missed my mark. You can work at a play lab at MIT. That's your gig. You get to work. That's where you go. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to the play lab today. What do you do? Oh, I play video games. Yeah. Again, I think I missed my calling. All right. So there you have it. The two stories that just kind of jumped right out at me this morning when I wasn't busy sprinting up and down the streets. Let's do this. Well, let's do this real quick, and then we'll be right back, and I'll tell you how I spent the opening part of my morning.
What's on the menu for the next 30 minutes? Well, we play less music than any other radio station in the morning, guaranteed. That's our If It's Your Favorite Song, You'll Never Hear It Here promise.
That's right. If it's your favorite song, it isn't happening here. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much right now. All right. So this morning you go, well, Brian, how was your morning? How is it that you didn't get down to the studio till just a few minutes before? And I didn't even get much of a chance to hang out with Wayne this morning. What were you doing? So you ever have these things where you just know in your gut you shouldn't do something, but you do it anyway? People say, oh, come on, just do it. You're going to be in a hurry. You got a lot going on tomorrow. Maybe you'll forget, right? I get that a lot now. Oh, well, how do you know you're not going to forget? right? And then what are you going to do if you're the guy with the brain tumor in the room, right? You're the one with the leaky with the hole in your head. You got to kind of concede. Well, what if you forget? Well, I won't forget. They go, well, have you ever had amnesia before? You go, Newman. Right, just like Seinfeld, Newman. So I have to just kind of cave. I have to give in. If they say, "Well, we don't want you to forget," I go, "All right, boy, it'll be nice when when you don't have that to hold over my head." So the thing here is that I live kind of it's called the preserve, but it's a forest preserve on the outskirts of beautiful Columbus, Ohio. And so I never like to put recycling out the night before. And you know why? Raccoons. One word, raccoons. They're crafty. And you put out recycling and they go, wow, this is like an all-you-can-eat food bar. And raccoons, they're really good. They know how to get into things. Like they're the safe crackers, right? They're the burglars of the animal kingdom. So I never like to put the recycling out because I figure, well, I don't want raccoons getting in and wreaking havoc and dumping my recycling all over the yard, right? Looking for something cool to eat. So I'm always worried about that, right? I'm always like, hey, no, I don't think I'm not going to do that. I'll wait till tomorrow morning. And even though everyone says, oh, what if you forget? What if you forget? Then, right? I'm like, oh, okay. So I caved last night. I put out the recycling. And apparently here in this part of the country, we had a windstorm. So what does the wind do? It makes the life of the raccoon even more exciting. It blows over my recycling bin. Now, when I get out in the morning, I go, okay, let me put my feet in the grass. Let me get a little bit of vibe from the earth before I start to kick off the show, right? And so I go out and the debris field, it looks like a tornado hit. It really does. And before everyone says, oh, you're making fun now of people that have been in tornadoes. I've been in a tornado. I've been to the immediate aftermath, like 20 minutes after. So I know what the debris field in the tornado looks like. It looked like a tornado had come through, and my recycling was everywhere. As far as my eye could see, granted, it's dawn, right, so I can barely see, but as far as I could see, recycling everywhere. So that's how I spent my opening 20 minutes this morning running around going, oh, great, now I got to clean up all the recycling. I don't want my neighbors getting out, right, starting their day going, oh, great, now I got to get up and pick up someone else's recycling. So I'm just darting back and forth, up and down the road, seeing it, is there an opening in this recycling bin, throwing some stuff in, so... In any event, there's a cautionary tale about going against your gut, right? About doing something that you just have a feel it isn't right, like putting gene splitting in monkeys, right? I know a few politicians. I think we could gene split and see if I know people from all walks of life, right? It's not just fair to, it's not fair to pick on people with diminished IQs, or could we be picking on politicians all day long? All right, let me jump in, say hello to Kathy and to Henry. Henry, I was just thinking about you. Kathy, good morning. Henry, good morning. Karen, good morning. Ina, good morning to you as well. Nice to see you. Also, Henry, nice to see you. Thank you, brother. Good to you as well. I know you got a big adventure coming up today. A lot of traveling, a big concert tonight. But I don't want to steal all of your thunder. I don't want to steal all of your thunder, so we'll wait and talk about that maybe a little later if you want to tell everyone in the thread what you're doing this morning, or we'll kick it around tomorrow. Kathy says, yes, raccoons will get your garbage. Well, Kathy, that's how I spent my morning, right? Just running around, picking up recycling. But the thing to remember is that that's what happens when you go against your gut, right? When you go against, I said to my good friend Sue, 2+ years ago now, I asked her to turn the car around. I don't want to have this brain shunt. I just knew, and I didn't listen to my own gut. Now the doctors say, well, we may have been wrong about that brain shunt. Really, Kreskin? You may have been wrong about it, were you? So that's all I'm saying is if you have a gut feel, stick with your gut, and then you don't have to get up early in the morning and fight the wind. And here's something else. Some of the stuff, it was still windy. So I'd bend over thinking, gotcha. And the wind would gust and it would blow. If you could have seen me, it was like a whack-a-mole game, right? A giant whack-a-mole game. Speaking about living in a simulation, I felt like I was in a giant whack-a-mole game and I'm running around. And just as I would bend over to pick up something, the wind would pick it up and carry it away. I'm thinking, oh, here we go. So I got like a 4-mile run in this morning, just running back and forth, trying to pick up the contents of a toppled recycle bin. They will open your cooler when you're camping too. Yes, Kathy, they absolutely will. Absolutely will. So that's how I started my day. All right. So this morning, what would you say, right? What would you say if you knew Alexa was listening? Right, and maybe we should just start treating Alexa like a therapist, right? Where you go and you say, okay, great. Well, here's what we're going to do. We'll go ahead and talk to Alexa, and maybe she can, if they're listening, then maybe there's a benefit to it. But what would you say if you thought, okay, this will be a good joke. This will be a way of getting a rile out of whoever's listening at the other end, right? What would you say? Because now they say Alexa's listening. Whatever you say, the people that built this thing, and again, speaks to the simulation. I think the guy in the play romper room over to MIT, right? Maybe that's it. Maybe it's all one big simulation. Now, I have to tell you this. This is, let's do this. We'll do a full disclaimer. Well, maybe like a half disclaimer. First, we'll do this. Don't forget, we're in the throes of our Up in 30 guarantee. Thank you very much, Parker, for the artwork. Up in 30 guarantee, which means today's show will be live within 29 minutes after this little soiree ends. You'll be able to go over to ipmnation.com/thebri, THEBRI, and you'll be able to get today's show the same day it happens. Like it's barely had a chance to warm, right? You're just barely out of the oven, and that's our Up in 30 guarantee. You'll be able to get the show, and we'll go from there. Now, a full stop, and let me do this. I think I'll use this picture. So if you were around yesterday, you saw that I had commented on my little sign, the mortalup.cop sign, cop.cop. Yeah, it's a Freudian slip. Mortalup.cop. Maybe that's what I should do. I should start a whole thing, a .cop. Idiot. Mortalup.com. And I was told that carrying my little sign was illegal, and I couldn't do it. Wasn't able to, regardless of if I had Alexa call on my behalf or not, wasn't going to be able to do it. So I had a delightful meeting yesterday, right? So what did people say? What'd you do yesterday morning? Well, I went to fight City Hall. Right. So, and I want to tell you what a good friend Lee Rowley is. Lee says, that's it. I've had it. If you can't carry your sign, how much is it going to cost us to print 100 signs and then make a mass movement across the border into the People's Republic of New Albany? Right. That's Lee. That's a friend, right? He's like, okay, you're not allowed to carry your sign. Let's get like 1,000 of them and get all of our friends together and everyone swarm, like at the southern border. We will have a caravan of people carrying mortalup.cop signs. I'm sorry. Right. I know. You're thinking, could he be a little more professional? No, he can't. Right. If you've been with me, it's a wonder I get through this half hour. .com, not .cop. .com. To be like a caravan, right? Moving into, across the border of the People's Republic of New Albany, and all carrying mortalup.com signs. .com. Well, then I go and I have just a fantastic meeting. And I don't want to give their last names because I didn't say I was going to mention them to them, but I had a nice meeting with Kathy and a nice meeting with Pam. And they go, Kathy says, sounds fun. Let's go. Kathy, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I had a very nice meeting with Kathy and Pam. And they said, you know what? There's a little wiggle room here. It may not be as illegal as we first thought, as you were first told. There might be a way around it, because if you get your sandwich board, it can only be within so many feet of a business, and you have to be the owner of that business, and it's like an extension of your property tax kind of thing. But I had an absolutely lovely meeting with these two young ladies, and they're going to get back to me today and let me know, because there's a chance that it's not going to be illegal for me to, right? In this country, it's not going to be illegal for me to walk down the street carrying a sign. Now, just so you get this right, they said to me, if you want to wear a sign on your back, right? Like Henry, like a poncho, right? What you brought me. If I wanted to Velcro a sign to the front of my poncho and Velcro a sign to the back of my poncho, apparently doesn't violate the statute. But if I put that sign on a stick, right? If I put that sign on the stick, there's some gray area. I might still be in trouble. Which, if you think about it, the viral video of me getting slammed up against a police car because I have a sign on a stick you can't beat that marketing. I don't care. You get all these emails. Oh, we're the marketing pros. Oh, we'll show you how to market. Oh, how would you like to learn to market on Facebook and YouTube, right? Forget all of that. A viral video of me getting slammed into the hood of a police car because I have a sign on a stick. Now, that might beat like a squirrel surfboarding. Right? You ever seen one of those? Or a squirrel in a pool skiing behind an electric motorboat. Me getting thrown in the back of a car, caged as it were, right? And, now that I think about it, maybe if they're busy getting genes and donating them to monkeys, maybe they can give me some of the things that my brain is now missing, right? If they got genes that they're giving to monkeys, how about an extra cerebellum? That would be maybe I could get the cerebellum of an Olympian, a gymnast, right? No more balance issues. So maybe that's something. Maybe I was a little too quick. Let me apologize to the Chinese scientists and making the fun about MSG in sushi. Let me apologize. You should reach out to me. Here, I'll put the number up on the screen if you want to get a hold of me. Maybe you could transplant a cerebellum in me. That would be nice. It would take up a golf ball size hole. Give me a call, 833-MINDUPS, 833-646-3877. Now, I know you're thinking, Brian, you're right, these genes were made for monkeys. Yeah, you know what? What's it going to do to me now, right? At this stage of the game, right? I'm going for my 5th brain surgery. Just give me a cerebellum, pack it in there, and if nothing else, it's got to take up a little bit of volume. All right, so I wanted to do that because I felt bad of saying as many times as I said the People's Republic of New Albany yesterday, seems there might still be a chance. There might still be a chance to be able to carry my signs up and down. And I couldn't do it today because it's too windy. I mean, all you'd have is a video of me fighting, right? I'd be trying to hold this sign up and the air, I'd be getting blown around. Maybe that's the video. That's the video that will go viral. So that's our wrap up from yesterday. Brian goes to City Hall, but I did meet some really cool people. So thank you very much for looking into that for me. Oh, and I should also say this morning, thank you to the good folks, to Bob and to Judd and the good folks at Aurora Business United. They're getting ready to kick off their big meeting this morning, and I wish I could be hanging there with you all. And they're going to do a little thing about the Brian Brain Trust and everything going on at GoFundMe. So from the people at Aurora Business United, Bob and Judd and all the good people there, thank you so very much. I truly appreciate it. And if I was allowed to drive more than to the end of the driveway, now I don't want you to think, because my driveway is like 2 car lengths, right? So I'm really not allowed to drive a lot farther than that because I'd love to be hanging out with you. But thank you so very much for just for helping me. As Bob said to me yesterday, yeah, well, we got your back while you're on a knee. So thank you very much. I super appreciate all of that. And then don't forget, tomorrow 11 a.m. till midnight, IPMNation.com/TheBri. We'll be doing a 13-hour marathon, talking to some really cool people, some really great guests, and the phone lines will be open to you as well. So if you get a chance and you're thinking, oh, I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but if you're thinking, yeah, I'll come over and listen to some pretty cool stuff and meet some new friends and this and that, we'd be thrilled to have you. So thank you very much for that. All right, so this morning, I'll go back into the thread. So now I want to. So I think it's Ina, and I'm sorry if you're still with us. Ina is the way you pronounce your name, because I got a thing yesterday and I still wasn't sure. Well, what if you pronounce it Dinah or Dina? So maybe it's Ina. So Ina, thank you so very much for joining us. Henry, again, Kathy, I can always count on you, Kathy. Kathy says, again, sounds fun. Let's go when we're going to rush the border. And then also hello to Karen. Please tell everybody there we said hello. And thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. All right, so think about this for a moment. What would you say to Alexa if you knew? I mean, think of the fun that we could have, right? Where all you're doing is saying, now, what needs to be told is that will they be able to hold that against you? Like if you say, oh, I'm going to rob a bank, right? And then all of a sudden the police show up at your door and they go, hey, we're here. Well, why are you here? Well, you're going to rob a bank. I'm not going to rob a bank. What are you, nuts? And they go, well, we got a call from you know what I mean? There's a dossier that was built against you. Kind of like we launched a We launched a criminal investigation based on the comic book The Walking Dead. Oh, well, then if it's a comic book and it's The Walking Dead, well, let's just giddy up and get in there. So the police knock on your door and go, hey, we hear you're going to rob a bank. I'm not going to rob a bank. And they said, oh, well, we got it from informed good sources. We've checked them out. They're good sources, right? Because that's what happens. If we don't have some kind of firewall, that's what happens. Yeah, the comic book, we got it from a comic book, a dossier of The Walking Dead. You're getting ready to rob a bank. Wouldn't that be wild? So maybe we shouldn't say to Alexa, hey, we're getting ready to knock off a Federal Reserve Bank. But I mean, what would they do if they're really listening in? Or we could say, oh, well, we caught an alien last night. Yep, spaceship crashed right here in the in the woods. We have our own Area 51 now. We caught our own alien. Wonder how long it would be before guys in black suits and ties would show up at your door and go, all right, where's the Martian? And you go, okay, so we could say we're robbing a Federal Reserve Bank. We could say we've captured a Martian. What else? Ina is like the eye. Oh, Ina, thank you very much for that. Ina, I appreciate it very much. See that? Now that's simple enough for me. Ina with an I. Thank you, Ina. I will never forget that again. Although I know I promised yesterday I would never forget it again. I was like, is it? So in any event, I won't forget this. Ina, like an I and an I. Ina, thank you very much. My Alexa is weird. Ina, I agree with you. So what could we say? What could we do? Just think about that. And that'll bring a smile to your face throughout the day. You deserve a smile. It's the weekend, right? You deserve, you've worked hard all week long. Put a smile on your face. What could you say? What could you say? All right, so there's the bank. Oh, I get an idea. Why not say you're being held hostage, right? And you could do it kind of like, okay, well, I don't know who you are, but, or you say something like that. Right? And then if they're really listening, are they going to call the police and send SWAT? Is there going to be, right? Are you thinking to yourself, oh, yeah, well, that's what I said to Alexa. And all of a sudden overhead, you hear the helicopters coming in. Then you go, oh, crap. Alexa really is listening. What am I going to do now, right? And you're like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. I happened to mention that I was being held hostage and, Alexa ratted me out. So that's the kind of fun that I'm talking about. What would you do? What would you say that would cause, cause the folks at Alexa to have to come clean? Because it's not like they're going to let you say that you're being held hostage, right? And not, right? Or would they? Do you think they would just listen and not do anything about it at all? Well, that's not cool. Yeah, and I have to tell you, I'm even weird with my phone because, if the FBI or anybody who, apparently anyone within the government that wants to wiretap you, they could just get a comic book, go to a FISA court and go, oh, I read it right here in the comic book. So you could get a wiretap for anything, but I'm always nervous, like, did I turn off my phone? Did I accidentally butt dial someone? Those kind of things. So it's a little weird for me. And now that Alexa's listening, maybe I'll just talk in another language. I'll have Lee teach me some other languages like Fallout Bob and his Parisian friend that he does from time to time. I'll have some other voices. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you for indulging me on a Free-for-All Friday. Have an absolutely spectacular weekend. If you get to join us tomorrow, that would be a blast. Don't forget IPMNation.com/The video is going to be over at IPMNation.com's Facebook page. If you want to watch, we'll be live, if I make it, we'll be live for 13 hours, and that starts tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Thank you so very much again for hanging out with us. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow if you get a chance to hang out for the block party. If not, we will see you bright and early Monday morning. I hope your weekend is a blast.
You've been listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.